am doing Entrepreneur Pitfall number 22. It is October 22nd. And today's topic is overworked and underpaid. So some of us as entrepreneurs have a tendency to do way too much work and are not getting paid enough. And it's a growth process. It's something that you have to grow out of if you are a new entrepreneur, or if you are someone who has never gone on this journey before, or if you have not had an advisor to help you with determining what it is that you should do. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's start with, what's the problem? So why do we have people that are overworked and underpaid? So I would go with, mostly this probably impacts new entrepreneurs. And a lot of it is because they're wanting to build a client base. They want to prove their worth. They want people to know that they're experts at what it is that they're doing. The next thing is that they just don't understand their value. They don't understand how much their expertise is actually worth, or they don't know how valuable it is, or the benefit that people are getting from it. And then the other thing is that they are being people pleasers, wanting to please people. Like, you don't want to say no, or you don't want people to think that you're being a difficult business owner and that you don't want to take work. I've had someone that's even told me before that one of the reasons why they have been underpaid for things is because they didn't want people to think that they were lazy and that they didn't want to take work. So that's the problem. The problem is that we're overworked. Some people are overworked and underpaid, and let's try to talk about what we can do to identify that. So how do you identify if you're one of those people or one of those entrepreneurs that's overworked and underpaid? So it's kind of the same as in corporate. When you're in corporate, you're stressed out, and you know that you're stressed out because they're giving you way too much work. So not very different when you talk about from the entrepreneur perspective. So some of the identifiers that I have are you're always busy and always broke. The next thing is you're doing a lot of consultations via phone. You're talking to a lot of people, but your PayPal isn't going off that often, and you're not hearing dollar signs in your checking account. The next thing is that you have a lot of people that are always asking you for discounts, or they're always asking you to give them something for free. And then another identifier would be when you have people that are always asking you for more than what it is that you originally agreed to. So I'll give you an example. An example would be, let's say you decided that you were going to do some content work for someone, and you were very specifically doing marketing content for that person. And then that person comes back and they say, oh, well, no, I wanted to get content for my website. That's not what you agreed upon. And a lot of times what happens is that as an entrepreneur, because you want to make your client happy, you'll make that adjustment for them. And honestly, if you have to make that kind of adjustment, those are two totally different things. Doing content for marketing and doing content for a website, those are not always necessarily the same thing, and those are two different projects, and you should be being paid two different prices for two different jobs. So once you've identified, so we know that the problem is that we're probably trying to please people, we're trying to build our client base, or we're not really necessarily understanding our worth. And some of the things that we're identifying is that we're always broke, always talking to clients, don't have a lot of money, people are always asking for discounts, and people are probably not sticking to whatever your original agreement was. So now that we know all of that, what can you do to avoid it? What are some solutions? So this is what I have come across in my journey, and it was kind of a hard road, but it is something that I have finally figured out, and I am glad to say that I am really on the road to revamping everything and making sure that I am no longer overworked and underpaid. The very first thing is that you have to learn to set a work schedule. Just like in corporate, even though you're an entrepreneur, you do have to have a work schedule that relates to clients. So you make up whatever that is. If you want to see clients from 8 to 5, great. If you want to see clients from 9 to 6, great. If you choose to see clients in the evening, that's fine. But take 8 to 9 hours and do it just like you would do if you were working for a corporation, because you're building an empire. You have the time frames in which you will see clients or do business. And that doesn't mean that after that time you stop working. It just means that during that time is when you focus on clients, or when you focus on taking care of client work. After that, you can work, after hours, you can work on developing your business, which is what I do. So from 9 to 6, those are my office hours, 9 to 6, Monday through Thursday. And then on Fridays, it's 9 to 3. Why is it like that? Well, because that's what I want. It's my business and I can do that. But the next part is, everybody knows I work way past that. I'm up 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, but it's because I'm doing other things. I am building other businesses. I'm developing my business. I am developing programs. I'm doing my social media. So just keep in mind that you can set a work schedule and stick to it, but the time that you do outside of that can be used for development of your business. And that's how you keep yourself from being overworked and underpaid. The next thing is going to be create a pricing structure that reflects your worth, and then you have to stick to it no matter what. So if that means that you have to type up a price list and put it on the wall, put it on a vision board, put it in front of you, if you have to do a set more calendar that outlines your prices, if you have to have prices that are on your website where a person has to pay a certain amount before they can even set up an appointment with you, that's fine. But you have to set a pricing structure and stick to it. And I'd also like to suggest to you guys to have introductory prices, or have your wording say pricing starting at. That way, when you sit down with a client and you have to do more for them than what you anticipated, they understand that it is starting at this price and that it costs more because they have more in-depth or more detail that you have to do for their project. The next thing is, and this is so important, you have got to upgrade your clientele. You have to stop dealing with clients who always want a discount. We're talking about people who always want you to give them some kind of discount, or they always want to get something for free, or they can't afford to pay for the services. I'm not saying that you can't do payment plans, because you can certainly do payment plans. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But there's a difference between doing a payment plan with a person who is going to keep that schedule and going to pay you as they should, versus a person who's trying to stretch out the payment plan because they really don't have the money to pay you. So upgrading your clientele is important. You need to make sure that you're going to places where you will find a target audience that can meet whatever your pricing structure is, and then you need to make sure that you are marketing to that group of people. That is very important, because as a new entrepreneur, a lot of times we tend to market to everybody. And as you grow and develop your business, you'll learn that you really are not catering to everybody. You are catering to those who fit your pricing structure specifically. And then the last thing, and I don't know how, I could say this over and over and over again, but this is the thing that I had to learn. You have got to learn, say it with me, how to say no. No, no, and no. You got to learn how to say no. And saying no means you have to learn how to say no to difficult clients. You have to learn how to say no to organizations that are asking you to do things for free all the time. You may have to say no to projects that are energy zappers. You may even sometimes have to say no to your family when it's time for you to have some alone time or some downtime or some time just to yourself. But saying no is going to save you. You cannot do everything. You can't do speaking everywhere. You can't be at every organization's benefit, or you can't go to every non-networking every networking event. So you have to learn how to say no. If you feel like there's a client who is going to be difficult, I mean, you have an internal voice or you have an intuition that tells you when somebody's going to be difficult. So all money ain't good money. Sometimes you just have to say no. And so I'm going to tell y'all to say that with me again. Say no. Because that was part of my problem in the beginning. I said yes to everyone, and it caused me to be overworked and underpaid. So those are, that's today. Today's pitfall is don't be overworked and underpaid, and the moral of it is that you really have to know your value. You have to set pricing structures. You have to be okay with going out and handpicking the type of clients that you need and that you want and that you deserve. And then the next thing is that you have to be able to say no. So until next time, I will see you guys again. Don't forget, I'm still working on trying to get that 100 subscribers. I think I'm like at 65 now. So if you guys have not had the chance to, please go out and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also follow me on any of my social media under Velvet Rope Experience. And also I want to give a quick shout out. Our Entrepreneurs Addiction has posted a new blog. So go to www.entrepreneursaddiction.com and check out our latest blog. It is called Fear of Isolation. I think you guys will love it. So until the next time, I will see you guys tomorrow.